Good morning. We're going to just give everyone about a minute to join us, and then we'll get into our conversation. How are you doing, Floyd?
I'm great, Angela. How are you?
I'm doing good. Bastion?
How are you this morning?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
All right. Just a few more seconds. See if we can get anyone else on here. All right, I'll go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining us. Floyd and I are, of course, live from the great state of Texas on Lake Conroe. Bastion, where are you?
I'm in Calgary, Canada, Alberta.
Awesome. I hope everyone is having a great day. Please go ahead, get your coffee this morning. Let's chat. Floyd, Bastion will be discussing our very recent partnership and explaining how this benefits all of you guys. Just a reminder, this live stream is very informal and we love engagement. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. Well, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Angela Saldivar, Antea's Asset Integrity and Risk-Based Inspection Specialist. I have been in the asset integrity industry for well over 10 years, working on MI from start to finish, which, it's never finished, but managing assets and helping facilities be compliant. Bastion, can you go ahead and introduce yourself, give us some history on Vysus and what you guys do for our industry?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me today. So, yeah, my name is Bastien. I'm also an asset integrity specialist and consultant, currently in a role of asset integrity manager with Vysus Group here in Calgary, Canada, like mentioned before. I'm part of the asset management consulting group with Vysus. I joined the industry good 11 years ago now. Time flies. And I joined the company at the time known as Lloyd's Register Energy, and I will get to that in a little bit. And I have been involved over these years in a variety of projects to serve clients, not just in Canada or in the US, but to a degree globally as well. During that time, there was a variety of projects. Um, just to stay on the topic where we are today, really around implementation or sustainment of asset integrity programs, RBI programs as well. And furthermore, also supported in the more recent years clients to bring our knowledge to bear to select asset integrity softwares, writing processes, procedures, helping with regulatory audits where required in various jurisdictions as well. So a little bit about Vysus. So like said, I was joining 11 years ago Lloyd's Register Energy, and Vysus emerged essentially out of formerly known Lloyd's Register Energy. We were formally formed in 2020. We were acquired, and however, all the heritage and legacy that came from the former company now starts living on with Vysus Group, even though on paper we look like a fairly new company, so to speak. And Vysus Group has a variety of engineering services and consulting services to serve various industries in the asset integrity or asset management consulting group specifically, just to what I named before, what our projects was, but including engineering services like corrosion and uh, you know asset integrity services in general. So
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Bastion. We're glad you're here with us. And we also have Floyd here with us, of course. And he's going to tell you a little bit about himself and give everyone some insight on Antea as well and what our company does for asset integrity management. Go ahead,
Sure,
Floyd.
sure. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all again. Again, my name is Floyd Baker. I'm with Antea. I'm the Vice President of Antea North America. I've been involved in asset integrity my entire career of 40 years, everything from non-destructive testing to robotics to now software. Um, Basically, if it's technology related, I tend to hover toward it. So that's kind of where my career has taken me. About half of my career I've spent on the end user side of the fence with companies such as Lyondell and Phillips and Chevron Phillips. And then the rest of my career, the other half of my career, I've been on the service side and of course now technology side. So nice broad range of everything asset integrity. I've enjoyed it the whole time. A little bit about Antea. We are 33 years in the business with zero turnover in that 33 years. Every customer we've ever obtained or partnered with, we still have today. We are most predominant in Europe and of course, over the past years, coming to North America. We have offices here in Conroe, Texas, as Angela mentioned. We have an office in Montreal, Canada, an office in Malaysia, and currently opening one in Abu Dhabi in the moment. And of course, our headquarters being in Padua, Italy, and a few other offices there in Europe as well. We focus on our software platform and providing the most feature-rich asset integrity management platform we think is out there in the world today. We're a global company providing this software platform and implementation services across the world.
Thanks so much, Floyd.
Sure.
So we'll go ahead and just kind of dive right in and start with you, Bastien. Um, Tell us a little bit about how important this partnership is for our existing end users and also our potential end users.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So we believe really the coupling our your software services and the services you provide with consulting and engineering services has a great benefit on various levels for end users. Um, like I mentioned before, in throughout my career, we work closely with software companies uh, in-house. That was before we became Vysus Group, for example, and coupling the two parts together um, enables us to enhance really the end user experience for an implementation uh, process, asset integrity software implementation process as a whole. Now, we also believe the um, this partnership enables us to build relationships internally with you on various levels, which enables us to share knowledge and train and building up skills to essentially become experts and be the expert on your software solution, for example. And coupled with the experience that we have over the last or decades, so to speak, with implementation. And I think we need to differentiate a little bit what implementation means. Because you talked about it, Floyd, you talked
Sure.
about implementation on your end, which is really more the software implementation or installation part, get it
Yeah.
into the system and embed it. When I talk about implementation, then there's more to it at the end, really to enable a end user, owner user of a software program to maintain it and run it at the end. And a lot of data might needs to make it into the software um, as well, depending on where the company started. You know, is there data that's being migrated from existing programs, or are we starting from a relatively fresh and scratch that requires more work effort?
Yeah.
And by us having this partnership allows us to exchange this information, train each other using our experience to tailor our processes and tools that we already developed to essentially be a trusted partner for these implementation projects that come right after the software implementation, so to speak. And um, and so on. There's typical challenges as well when it comes to implementing a new asset integrity software. There are a lot of benefits, and that's the reason why companies go down that route of getting into a new software, being it, you know, there's various reasons, and maybe not going into it today. Um, but it also comes with challenges. We typically see that there's an increase of work effort and workload required to really bring this journey to a successful end. And a lot of times, the amount of resources and the skill and the knowledge may not exist at this point in time. Uh, within companies, and there we could come in and really help this heavy lift to bring from A to the end, to enable a smooth transition in implementation projects.
I agree. I
Bastien,
agree. That's the key. That's the key. Actually, I'd like to
yeah.
point that out. Sorry, Angela. Is that when you make the decision to move to a next generation asset integrity platform, you kind of have to think about the resource requirement on site. And what we've learned in our history of implementations and installations is that, as Bastien mentions, the resources just aren't available. They aren't available. So a lot of times it is best to, in most cases, it's best to bring in somebody who actually has the background in many, many installations and implementations that can provide those on-site or physical consulting resources in order to make this implementation go so much more seamless and manage those pitfalls or those hurdles that Bastien speaks of. Yeah, to me, that's the difference. You mentioned differentiating implementations, and with us, we focus predominantly on the cyber aspect. So everything, data analyst, data cataloging, data mining, and data migration. That's an implementation for us. With Bastien and them, it's the physical aspect where they're actually being consultants and making the things happen on the site and providing consultation around physical workflows for activities happening in using the database. So to me, it's just the perfect marriage. It really works out really well for the end user and provides an enormous amount of value and reduces all the stress associated to an implementation.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to touch point on, Floyd, was differentiating the two different types of implementation, because we've had many discussions about that, discussing with the client what implementation consists of on our part, but also the aspect of what else needs to go into the software to have a functional, MI program moving forward. And there's a lot that goes into that sometimes people aren't accounting for. They're just looking at the implementation of just the software. So I hope we can definitely dive a little deeper into that in the webinar and explain to people kind of the phases of what that looks like, and that it doesn't just stop with getting the software in there. If it just stops with getting the software in there, they're not going to use it. So that's why it's important to move all the way through those phases.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the questions that they always ask when asking for a proposal, there's a demonstration always, and then there's an RFI or an RFP or something like that. But there's always that question: what is my on-site resource requirement going to be? Because we're very strapped, we're resource strapped, and they always want to understand that. So, we know it's a sensitive side of the business, and I've been on that side before. I've been there where you want to do all these things, yet you want to do all these cool things that are going to add value to your business, but you just don't have the resources to do it. So this is a way to provide a solution for that very, very familiar situation in almost every plant.
In addition, you touched on some very valid points as well. Where I said before, we sometimes are involved as well to support clients, even helping them along this way of the selection process when it comes to a software. And sometimes when this journey is being started, building a business case and so on, not all aspects are known. And by helping, really shedding light on what else is needed to not just get it in-house, but being able to sustain and maintain this tool or program per se. When we talk about asset integrity program as a whole, but software is just a tool, and being part of it is important to get the essential buy-ins from management and so on to really have that resource, which maybe not just manpower, but also financial, being secured to undertake that journey.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Training, for example, is another great aspect that's sometimes being forgotten about.
Yeah, I agree with you. I say many of the same things. Fashion training is a huge one, but I don't want to get too much into this too deep, because we have a lot to discuss, and we want everyone to come to the webinar. So definitely be looking out for our webinar that's going to be coming up, and we're going to discuss this a little more in detail. That's all we got for today, but if you'd like to learn more about Antea, you can go to www.antea.tech. You can also visit Vysus website. I'm not sure. Can you elaborate on the website for that, Bastien?
It's vysusgroup.com, I think.
Yes, vysusgroup.com.
Okay. And you can access all kinds of information, resources. Visit Antea Podcasts. We have an article releasing soon as well. Floyd, can you elaborate a little bit on that?
So we're just going to spend some time to dive a little deeper into what we see the value to the customer is, but also the value it provides for each of our companies. We talked about some of those. We touched on them just a moment ago. The pitfalls that we run into as a software company and implementations, and then the gap that it closes, the gap that Vysus closes for that. So we're going to dig a little deeper into that, not only in that article, but also in the up and coming webinar.
Yes, please be looking out for the webinar. And like I said, no official date, but please keep looking back. We'll have a date and we'll send that out to everyone. So if you'd personally like to receive more information, please send myself or Floyd a message, or contact Bastien with Vysus, send him a message. We'll also make sure you're on our email list. And thanks, everyone. Thanks, Bastien. Thanks, Floyd. And we'll see you all next time.
Don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube.
Yes.
Exactly. Same
Visit
here.
us.
Thank you, guys. Enjoyed it.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Talk
Thank
soon.
you.
Thanks, Angela.